So the other day I posted some pictures about a travel box that I made, and this is another travel box that I made for the podcast that I do here through the company I work for. This one's on a smaller scale, but essentially it's kind of doing the same thing. I'll show the differences between the two, but starting off with this case here, the biggest thing in how they're similar is they have a power switch with a plug mounted to the side of the box. Up top, as you can see, there's the screws with the washers. And what I've done is I have this Vesa mount that will pop out, and then I can use this 15-inch monitor to go into place and to snap into place right here. The plugs for the monitor are on the side. So what I have done is I have a right angle HDMI along with a right angle plug that is coming into one of these plugs here that's on the surge protector. And I cut the wire from the surge protector to be able to run it into the back of the plug. And something that I've done differently on this smaller one from the other one is the other one has a larger power strip surge protector inside of it, because I will be using a laptop, the Rodecaster video, and I will have an iPad and monitor on the bigger one, and possibly two monitors, no iPad. So I'm given different combinations that I'm going to use on the larger one. So I have a larger surge protector on it compared to this one. This one pretty much will just power up the monitor, will power up the Rodecaster, and an extra plug to just charge something and whatnot. This one is just, like I said, a small setup for work. If we record a podcast on the road or something. And so currently when I'm working on this one, similar to what I did with the larger one, is originally I was using these hinges here in place. And you can see where I had drilled the hose out. And I had the hinges here with the Rodecaster mounted to the top of it. And then I would press this clip down and the Rodecaster would drop in place. As you can see how that would move down. Well, what I've done now to we have an event coming up on April the 1st, and with that event, it's going to kind of call for a different setup. So similar to what I did with the larger one is I'm going to take these two plates here, and I'm going to sandwich them, one on the inside, one on the outside, and I'll take probably, I think it's like a 1/4 2-inch in length, and I will sandwich the two plates together, and I will use a small rig 1/4 to 1/4 that will, in turn, I will use a Vesa mount plate that also has a 1/4-inch hole in the center, and I will screw this in, and that way I can drop this down into place in here, as compared to having to reach under all of these cables plugged up to the back of the Rode video, to where then I have to kind of tuck underneath to unclip them to where it'll sink down. So now I'm going to use a 1/4 to 1/4 small rig arm, and then that way all I have to do is just unscrew it, and then have everything kind of just fall down into place and kind of tuck away nice and neat, as compared to having to continuously tuck my hand underneath, as I had said. So by sandwiching the plate here and the plate underneath, what that's going to give me and what that's going to allow me to do, and this is something I had shown on that large display, the large case that I had done. Clip this in place. Let's see what's holding it up. think it's that. So what I would do is now, like I mentioned, I'll put one on the inside, one on the outside. The one on the inside will be able to use for the 1/4 inch to mount to the Rodecaster. This one here, and then I put these little rubber feet on there so this doesn't sit off and make it teeter-totter, and it'll give the rubber legs. This also won't scratch the wood on any table or anything. But by putting this here, it'll give me the availability to then mount it to a tripod. And that way, if I'm in an area that there's not very much table room or anything, I can just mount it on a tripod, have it next to me, and be good to go. Really, the biggest thing that separates this small one from the large one that I've been doing is the large one, the intention is to be able to have a laptop clamp and be able to put my Alienware M16 or my ROG Z-Flow 13 in that clamp and have the Rodecaster video, the Streamer X, a PoE switch, and have the laptop there for situations where I can put it on a desk and everything's kind of clean and compact. Or if I'm traveling somewhere for a sporting event and I'm the visitor and I don't have a booth to work out of, I can put it in a tripod in the stands and also have a camera and everything around it and kind of go mobile and run everything off of a battery. So when I'm at the home field, you know, I have on the larger one, I have the legs on it as well, to where when I put it on the table, it won't scratch it or anything, and it'll lift it up off the table. Now this one, on this small travel one, grab this before it falls. I did cut out and mount all of these in place. So XLR1, XLR2, then HDMI 1 through 4, and then A and B, and then 4 and 5 USB-Cs, my Ethernet, and then I have extra USBs if I wanted to run to power or something that I put in there. These really aren't being used, but I just have them there anyway. So I pretty much just cut those out using a box cutter and everything. So that's how that's fitted in. To do the power switch, I kind of just traced it out the way I measured it with the pen, the way I drew it out and traced it with a pencil. And I used a sheetrock saw to cut the hole out just enough to be able to push that in there, drilled out the holes, and put the screws and a washer and nut on the inside to secure that in place and stop it from moving. Originally, I had one of the plates out here because I would use wireless transmitters, and I would mount them to the lid, which is what this was here. But now I'm really not using anything wireless on this box, so I'm really not messing with it anymore, and that's why I took it off to move it to the inside. So kind of going a different direction with this box, but I'm showing you this smaller one compared to the larger one to show you the two different configurations. So now I'm going to show you how I did the larger one and what I did differently. But I'm not going to go into breaking everything down just because it's pretty well already built. But I'll show you the differences and how they're in my thought process into it all. That I bought at Harbor Freight. And again, I mounted the switch a little bit differently on this one. The other one you could tell was horizontal. This one I did vertical. One thing about this one is it does have the rollers, the wheels with the arm, and then I have the plate underneath, which this is an overkill plate for what it is I'm going to be doing. I'm putting this one on a tripod for when I need to. But the reason I did it this size is because if you notice here, there's slides where whenever I pull out the handle, the slides go through there. So the plate whenever I measured it, I happened to find these on Amazon, and the plates fit exactly over the slots. You can see how that fits. So it still lets the handle come out and everything, and yeah, so it's overkill for what I need, but it works. And you can see I used a little bit different feet on here, and compared to the other one, and I just used the same screw holes and put a quarter 20 back in to hold those feet in place. But you can see how it has the rollers on there. Um, but yeah, you can see how that comes out. So I can still roll it in from behind. The other thing I did differently on this one is I just cut out a 3-inch hole to feed the cables out and then just shove them in and everything for when I'm done, as compared to trying to cut all of the HDMIs and everything out, in which I probably had room to cut out the round ones and slide them in place. But I just, where I'm at in our booth for football and everything, this is like the perfect size. If I would have put those in and I would have had the cables come out through here, it would have made it would have made kind of it tough to bend the cables or do something against the glass that's there. So that's why I went with this instead, to just pull the cables out, and then that way I can bend them and angle them. Now, before I go to the inside, so you can see here I did the outside plate, and I did some right angle, well, they're not right angle, but they're adjustable heads here for the wireless transmitters that I use during football season. So my plan with this is obviously I have 2 wireless transmitters because I have 2 cameras on the field, one in the booth next to where I'm at, but of course I can always add more if I need to add another transmitter on here. But I have an Avcans Go camera that I want to use with scoreboard OCR for the to keep score and time and everything. So my plan is to use another small rig arm mounted to this plate facing the scoreboard and the game clock, the scoreboard for scorekeeping, down and distance, game clock, and play clock. Or I could have a suction cup to mount that on there and then just run it to the inside of the box. And here on the inside is the other plate sandwiched in, and you can see how I was talking about using the small rig arm. And essentially what it'll do is I would put this monitor here off to the side, and then possibly here, if we're on the road somewhere and I can't use a laptop, then I need to use an iPad or something through overlay, what's the name, Una overlay. I can mount an iPad to at least keep score and whatnot, and I can mount that next to the monitor. But as well as I have extra holes to where I can do other mounting or anything. Now earlier I showed you and I told you that I had used a Vesa mount on the Rode video, and this is the Vesa mount that I used on the Rode video, and I used these screw-in screw heads to be able to make it quick and easy to unscrew them as compared to using a screwdriver or whatnot. But I use this same plate on that Rodecaster video to where then I can use the arm. So let me get this out of the way. So as you can see here on the breakdown, I have my other Rodecaster video for the school, and then I have my laptop arm that can hold a 15-inch or larger laptop, but it'll also hold my ROG ZFlow 13 on it. What I liked about this arm, and it is a little bit heavy, but it also has 1/4-inch taps on the side, so if I need to mount anything from the outside there. Okay, so after moving that out of the way, so you can see how everything is on an arm. There's the power strip. So I have my USB-A's, and I think it has 2 USB-C's. So I can run one to power for the monitor, and then I can use the other one to just charge something or whatever I need. But then I have the M16, I think, uses a 230 watt charger, and then the 13 can use I think it's a 230 watt also on the Republic of Gamers, but it can also use a PD of 100. So if I'm away, I can use I have an Anchor C2000, I think, that has 140 volt charging USB-C on it. So I can run that to the Z13 for away games if I don't have anywhere to plug up for power to the surge protector. And instead of using the large laptop, I can switch to the Z13. That's why I also have the Streamer X in here, is because of away games. This will draw power from an iPad if I want to go live on an iPad, or it can draw power from the ROG 13, or really any computer without having to be connected to its own power source. So when I'm away and all I'm using is one camera and a headset, that's what this is for. Now, when I'm home, of course, we have more cameras, so that's why this is mounted in here. In any situation that I can run more cameras, I will have this with me already ready to go. And in a situation that I can't, I have this mounted in here, and that's ready to go. And I have the flexibility of using an iPad to stream through numerous apps, whether it's Mevo Multicam, Afghans Go Live, Multicam, Cameo, I think it's what it's called, through iPad. Or like I said, I could go with my ROG 13 to stream from it and have a full OBS, or the Alienware M16. I do have a PoE switch in here, so I can, and then I have give me 1 second, let me grab it. And then for internet, I can either use the home field internet, or if I'm away, I have this GLI net, if that's how you pronounce it correctly, wireless router. And this is the XE3000NR model. Has a built-in battery. I think it can go up to 7 hours, maybe longer, with a dual SIM. So I have a Verizon and a T-Mobile in it right now. And it does really, really well. I was out of town and I was in the hotel. We were on the 3rd floor, and I was getting internet down to the 1st floor at the swimming pool with it. So it can reach a pretty good distance. So that's why I have this in here, so I can take this, plug it into the PoE, and then if I need to, I can run it to PTZ cameras, or I can run PoE to the Afghans Go, and then connect it to the scoreboard OCR. But yep, so this is my setup for the large box, and then the smaller one that I had shown. And like I said, on this, the dual plates might be overkill, but especially on the bottom. But I needed it so I could be able to still use the wheels and the handle and roll everything through it. And this is the setup. So thank you for watching, and hope you find that interesting.